got to see the main event and the co-main event of this card, unfortunately. But I did want to talk about those and just kind of walk down the card. So, early on, honestly, I wasn't not too many fights I was interested in. I was interested in the Diana Bilbitsa against Gloria DePaula fight. I actually feel like Diana Bilbitsa is a talented fighter, and I remember she almost she put herself in. Unfortunately, she kind of sometimes makes a little mistakes. Like she put herself in that armbar against the Georgian fighter. I forgot what her name is. But I don't know if they're going to keep her around for in the UFC much longer. I think she's kind of on a losing streak, which is unfortunate because I do like her and I think she's a solid fighter. I think there's just a couple mistakes that she made, which in this game it's all about inches. Chaz Skelly had a nice second round knockout. Stephanie Egger looks like a legit prospect, beating Jessica Rose Clark. Jessica Rose Clark, very pretty fighter. She's been and a solid fighter too. And Stephanie Egger proving that she's a nice prospect. I think her last fight, I think she might have won by knockout, and then let's take a look. And then this fight was by submission, or it may have been both submissions. So she's coming off, I think knockout and then submission, which is pretty impressive for the women's division because you usually it's mostly decision type fights. So very impressive. Wasn't really following the David Onama fight. I mean, David Onama looks like a very fit. And Gabriel came in overweight, so I'm kind of not surprised, but it's definitely probably a fight I should check out later on. Joaquin Buckley against Abdul Razak Al Hassan. With a fight like this, you either, with two knockout artists, oftentimes you end up actually going to decision. Sometimes I like doing that little play where you do, you take the under and then you bet by decision and do a little hedge bet. So basically if it goes over 1.5, it's going to decision. If it goes under 1.5, obviously it goes under 1.5. But kind of expected, being more, they both respect each other's power. I didn't get to really see the fight, but good for Joaquin Buckley. I think that's 2 in a row now. So every time I think he loses, he's won 2 in a row. So he had that loss to Alessio De Chirico, 1 2 in a row. He had the loss to Kevin Holland and knockout loss. He's able to pick himself up. I like him. I know he had that guy, the self-defense guy that all the MMA community was having beef with. So it was fun to see that video of them training together, and I'm happy. Sometimes they do that. Joaquin, what I like about him is, he shows that he knows how to get eyes on him, which is awesome, and he knows how to get the attention. Good for him. He obviously he had that beautiful viral knockout. Now he brings this guy in. He puts some attention on himself. I saw that, one of the things that popped up on my YouTube right away is an interview. So I saw him, he's a guy who's good on the mic. He's smart. And even though it's weird because I remember he got kicked out of the gym for sparring too hard. Oh my God, the great trainer. My God, I'm forgetting his name. Fought at 170. Had one fight at 185. But I'm forgetting his damn. He's always for some reason I always kind of associate him with Mark Montoya. I know they're different. There's Mark Montoya, and then there's this other guy. I'm forgetting his name. He does the UFC bets as well. But you guys get the idea. Joaquin Buckley, smart guy, shredded, always comes in under the limit. He looks like he's kind of right in between that 170, 185 range. So, but good for him. So he's probably that allows him. Abdul looks like might be the physical. Although Abdul didn't move up from 170, he looks like kind of maybe the slightly bigger guy. Joaquin, having that cardio advantage and allows him to carry his knockout power probably well into the third rounds. And if he fights 5-round fights, well into the 5th round because of the fact that he doesn't cut as much weight. I think that's what helps Adesanya too. Jim Miller, what a legend. He ties Donald Cerrone's record for most wins in the UFC, and I'm so happy. The guy, now he's on a 2-fight knockout streak. God bless this guy. What a great guy. Just seems like an awesome human being. Just great. People like him, Roxanne Modafferi, man, it just all you want to do is tip your hat to them and just show them the ultimate respect. These warriors are amazing and just have all the respect for them. Parker Porter, I haven't really followed Alan Badeau much, but I do like Parker Porter. I've made money on him as a dog when he beat Chase Sherman. I like Chase Sherman, and I kind of feel bad that he had that knockout loss against Jake Collier, but Jake Collier is shown to be a really good fighter. I didn't see Alan Badeau. And that brings us to Kyle against Jamie Pickett. So I had a feeling, I was saying, think that it's not a bad idea to take, if you like Kyle, to take a bet on the under. And he, proved that. Man, it's crazy how Jamie tapped. It was between one, it was like 2-1, and he started tapping between 1 and 0.5 seconds, which is absolutely insane. He definitely could have held on. I know, maybe he would have went to sleep in a second, but I doubt it. I felt like if he had the energy to tap, he could have held one more, but he didn't know. He could have been rocked. It's unfortunate. I like Jamie Pickett a lot. I think he's kind of like a perennial underdog, and I like his story. He's going to be back. Just unfortunate that he tapped. Obviously, Kyle was a tough squeeze. He used to fight at heavyweight. So was, he's going to be training with his brother Chris, who's going to be fighting heavyweight. Again, I love both of them. Actually, Kyle, I even like him more than Chris, even though I like both. Kyle just seems like a legitimate, really nice guy. He just seems like a guy with a great heart. I don't know. To me, just by the way he talks, by the way he looks, he just seems like a really good guy. I actually think that his brother should fight at light heavyweight, Chris. But it is what it is. Great win for Kyle. He's now on a 2-fight submission streak, even though his last fight didn't count against Kevin Holland because there was no contest. That brings us to the main event. Wawa. Man, Jamal Hill, what a monster. Johnny Walker must have had a huge weight advantage. I wish they would have disclosed what the weights were of both of them because, I don't see Jamal Hill weighing more than 215. Just if you compare the size of their arms and their legs to like Johnny Walker's legs are way bigger, his arms are way bigger. I know he cuts from people say from 240. I don't know how that's physically possible, but I know that guys who are jacked like him and Paulo Costa, they can kind of get out a lot of water out of their muscles, and that can bring them down in weight a lot. It's interesting. Both these Brazilian guys, Costa and Johnny Walker, just have a tremendous amount of muscle mass. And Jamal Hill doesn't look like the kind of guy who has that much knockout. He's kind of almost like a, no disrespect to him, kind of like a skinny, fat, tall guy. But man, the guy is blessed with insane power. The guy has the touch of death, smooth boxing, very skilled. I think that the path to beat Jamal Hill would be kind of like what Paul Craig did, but anyone I think who's a big, strong, powerful grappler who can kind of get him on the ground. Felt like Johnny had him against the cage. If he had better technique with his grappling, he could actually get him down, and I think he could have beaten Jamal Hill. But Jamal, he tried to kind of use his muscle to get Jamal Hill down instead of technique. But yeah, Jamal is so damn skilled. I think that I wish he could fight at 185. I swear this guy could be a champ at 185 right now. I still say he could be a champ at 205, but if he cuts a little bit of that stomach fat and just goes down to 185, I think the guy could even beat Adesanya, or at least put up a damn good fight with Adesanya. Obviously Adesanya would have the leg kicking advantage, but this guy's hands are, and again, he has just a touch of death in his hands. If this power translates to 185, that's it. Maybe it's also possible that, maybe that extra weight, even though, it doesn't look appealing, it allows him to have his power. That's possible too. But I think that guys like him, they just have the touch of death, regardless of what weight. Of course, if they're malnourished, that's a different story. But at 185, I think that maybe 195 would be perfect for him. But Jamal Hill is an amazing fighter. I love watching the guy. Sweet Dreams Hill has a lot of confidence. Liked his speech. He's ready. People underestimated after the Paul Craig fight. He's a pretty sizable dog against Jimmy Crute. And now he comes in as a significant favorite and cashes. And, I did say that the way to go for this fight is that under 1.5, which was plus money. And then you can either take that or hedge that with the decision fight. So I did say the under 1.5, or if you want to be safe, under 1.5 plus the decision fight. Because I feel like if it goes over 1.5, it's going to decision. If it goes under 1, or it's either going to be an early knockout or it's going to drag on to a decision. You see that in general, if you look statistically at UFC fights, most of them, if it doesn't end in the first round, the percentage chance that it's going to end in the second round is lower. Third round, lower. Fourth round, lower. Fifth round, lower, especially with the big boys. And I do think that Jamal actually might carry his power to the fifth round because he's a smaller light heavyweight. But, but still, if you look at the law of numbers, that's what the numbers seem to show. So, Jamal, man, the guy has a bright future ahead of him. I love the guy. I can't wait to see him fight again. Johnny Walker, I feel bad. The guy has so much freaking talent and size. Maybe he needs to fight at heavyweight, but it's almost like, his, like the Weasel says, his lack of defense is his big problem. Actually, it's funny. I just saw his name. So his name is actually Walker Johnny da Silva Barra Souza. So long name, but yeah, I mean the guy like 82-inch reach, and Jamal Hill has a nice reach, 79, pretty insane. But I mean Johnny Walker with an 82-inch reach, almost matching John Jones's reach. Like the guy is built like a bodybuilder, jacked. I mean maybe he needs to fight at heavyweight. Honestly, so athletic, so wild, but he almost keeps like his head out too much. It's unfortunate because I like the guy a lot, but now he's coming. He's lost 4 of his last 5, which is crazy. Because I mean, before that, he had after he did have a few losses early in his career. Then he went on like a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 a non-fight winning streak and beat solid people. I mean, I guess you can say Justin Winter. I don't think he's in the UFC anymore, but Khalil Roundtree Jr. is solid. Misha Serkinov. I don't know if he's had a win in a while, to be fair, but once he hit that higher level, Corey Anderson put it on him. Then Nikita Krylov put it on him. Ryan Spann, I mean, it was dicey, but he came back, and now he had that decision to Thiago Santos, which was razor close. But now Jamal Hill puts the stamp in it. And it's unfortunate. I mean, again, I don't know if he's going to switch gyms again because he's been like known to switch gyms when he has a few losses. But I don't know. I really don't know. He's a young guy. He's only 29 years old, and he's a big guy. So he definitely has the potential to improve. But, all these knockouts are starting to add up. So, I mean, look, getting knocked out brutally, but Jamal Hill just like starched, put out on his feet. Then knocked out by Corey Anderson. He was previously knocked out by Henrique Silva Lopez. This is like Jungle Fights 2016, way back in the day. Wagner Prado, I don't know who that is. TKO punches early on in his career. But I'm saying it's like all those knockouts, again, showed that he has that hole in defense for a while that hasn't been fixed. He's more offensive than defensive. But, that could really hurt his chin. And, I mean, just he was way the guy was what's his name? Jamal looked like he'd be way more technical and, great hands. And again, when you have the power, I mean, you have like Thor's hammer in your hands. I mean, and with his slickness and his ability, despite the fact that, again, he's a small weight heavyweight, he's going to be whooping dudes' asses. I would love to see him fight at 185. And again, I do think he'd be a champion at 185, or at least close to a champ. I mean, maybe it was Adesanya or something. But, but still, like, I think at 205 he could still be champ because he's freaking that good. But overall, those 2 fights, definitely very, very fun fights. And, I thought the more excited for Jamal Hill fight, I was more excited for that than the Fiziev Rafael Dos Anjos fight. So, it was definitely a good card. And I think next week's card is Bobby Green against Islam Makhachev. And, I think I saw that Islam, it already opened as like a minus 1,000 betting favorite. And, but, Bobby Green, I watched, if you guys have a chance, please watch the UFC Origins Bobby Green. I think it came out like a year ago. Man, Bobby Green is such an inspiring story. And as much as I love Islam, man, I think I might root for Bobby to win this. And Bobby, I mean, the guy's just an awesome guy, awesome, inspirational story. So I can't wait to break down that fight and that card. So we'll see what happens. So thank you, everyone. Please like and subscribe, and I appreciate all your love and support. Thanks.